What if I told you that the most influential tennis player of the last 20 years is not Roger Federer, not Rafael Nadal, and not even Novak Djokovic? Sounds crazy, right? We have been brainwashed to believe that greatness in sports is only measured by the number of trophies in a cabinet. But a recent, explosive analysis by The Athletic reveals a shocking truth that tennis executives tried to ignore for 2 decades. There is one man who changed the entire culture, fashion, and style of modern tennis, inspiring a whole new generation of superstars, including Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff. Yet, he never won a single Grand Slam. Who is this mysterious icon, and why is the tennis world suddenly panicking as his final hour approaches? To understand this deep mystery, we have to look past the scoreboard. For the last 20 years, professional tennis felt like a corporate boardroom. It was rigid, hyper-serious, and traditional. But then stepped in a man who treated a tennis court like a Broadway stage and an Olympic track combined. Gael Monfils, known to millions as La Monf or the Sliderman. He did things with a tennis racket that physicists claimed were impossible. He didn't just slide on clay courts. He slid on hard courts, leaving 10-foot skid marks and defying gravity by launching his body through the air like a superhero. For years, critics and traditional tennis experts laughed at him. They called him a clown. They said he was just a showman who cared more about entertaining the crowd than winning actual trophies. They pointed at his stats, 13 ATP titles and a career-high ranking of world number 6, and dismissed him as an underachiever. But as Monfils officially announced his retirement, the ultimate truth has finally come to light. The experts were completely wrong, and the real impact of Gael Monfils is far bigger than anyone ever realized. In a deeply emotional tribute at the ongoing French Open, 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka exposed the real truth. She revealed that for young black players growing up in a predominantly white sport, they had Venus and Serena Williams on the women's side. But on the men's side, they only looked up to one man, Gael Monfils. He wasn't just hitting a yellow ball, he was representing an entire community on the global stage. He showed the world that you could be unapologetically yourself, bring your unique cultural flavor, your explosive athleticism, and still compete with the absolute best in human history. Look at the modern era of tennis right now. Players like Ben Shelton, Francis Tiafoe, and Carlos Alcaraz. They play with immense joy, they interact with the crowd, and they bring an electric, high-energy showmanship to the court. Where do you think that came from? It came from the blueprint laid down by Monfils. He broke the rigid robotic mold of tennis and made it cool, athletic, and fashionable. He proved that the emotional connection you build with millions of fans across the globe is worth far more than a gold-plated trophy. But here is where the suspense builds to a critical point. Right now, at this very moment, we are witnessing the final act. Monfils is 39 years old, playing in his absolute last French Open at Roland Garros. The curtain is coming down on a 21-year-old historic journey. In his opening match against fellow countryman Hugo Gaston on the historic Court Philippe-Chatrier, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Every single slide, every dramatic dive, and every ferocious forehand could be his last. The crowd isn't just cheering for points anymore. They are desperately trying to hold onto the disappearing magic of an era. When Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner, and Naomi Osaka gathered on the court for a special tribute called Gael and Friends, it became clear. The locker room knows what the world is about to lose. You can clone a player who hits perfect baseline ground strokes. You can train a machine to serve at 140 miles per hour. But you can never, ever clone the soul, the charisma, and the pure, unadulterated joy of Gael Monfils. So, as we watch the final chapters of this legendary career unfold in 2026, we have to ask ourselves a fundamental question. What truly matters more in sports? Being a cold, robotic champion who collects medal trophies that eventually gather dust? Or being an artist who electrifies human hearts, breaks cultural barriers, and changes the DNA of a global sport forever? Gael Monfils chose to be an artist, and the tennis world will never be the same without him. Thank you, Sliderman, for showing us that sports are meant to be lived, not just won.